There will always be copycats the minute anything shows any little bit of success.
Bruh.
But did you know that many of your favorite League of Legends champions actually share the exact same kits and/or abilities as characters from other MOBAs? Let's talk about those striking similarities, and let me know in the comments if you think these examples are a mere coincidence or something more. One of the first examples of these similarities is the League of Legends champion Brand and his Dota 2 counterpart Lich. At first glance, they seem to be polar opposites with one another, with Brand trying to set the whole world ablaze and the Lich trying to keep things as cool as a cucumber. The structural similarities between them are undeniable. The biggest outlier here is their ultimate abilities, Pyroclasm and Chain Frost. Both of these ultimates are high-impact projectiles that bounce between grouped enemies, dealing massive damage and slowing all targets in their path. This simple mechanic has helped to define the outcome of countless teamfights in both games, and helped to teach players that it's not always best to stack with your buddy. Well, you can't have a MOBA game unless you have some sort of hooking champion, am I right? It's the design staple that spans the entire MOBA genre. Just a few examples. League of Legends has the iconic robot Blitzcrank with his rocket grab. Dota 2 has the legendary Pudge with Meat Hook. Heroes of New Earth features the Devourer with Guttling Hook, and Heroes of the Storm gives us Stitches with just plain old Hook. While each of them has their own unique look, for the most part, they all share one singular objective: trying to catch the enemy slightly out of position and drag them kicking and screaming right into the enemy team. That's why whenever any of these champions are picked, you better ensure that you have a minion in front of you ready to body block that hook. Moving on to Diablo from Heroes of the Storm, who honestly feels like a greatest hits compilation of League of Legends mechanics. Diablo's ability Overpower flips enemies behind him, a move that almost functions identically to Singe's Fling. But he doesn't just stop there. Once his target is out of position, he'll follow up with a Shadow Charge, a dash that punishes enemies who aren't careful about their positioning on the map. And if he knocks you into a wall, you'll be stunned for several seconds, which any Poppy main will tell you is the exact same frustration that they inflict on the Rift with their heroic charge ability. Diablo is essentially two frustrating League of Legends champions rolled into one demonic package. Now, who here doesn't love the thrill of being nuked into oblivion from across the map? The League of Legends champion Karthus' ultimate ability Requiem will do just that. But he's not the only one that has a global reach. Dota 2's hero Zeus has Thunder God's Wrath. Heroes of New Earth has the champion Thunderbringer with Lightning Storm. And Smite lets New Wa rain down fire shards. Each of these high power abilities strikes every enemy champion on the map simultaneously, which helps to create a constant low health anxiety for the enemy team. And if the enemy thinks they're safe in their own fountain, think again, because if your health bar is low enough, you're truly never out of range of one of these ultimates. Now, who doesn't love the feeling of a long-range projectile flying right at your head? League players know this all too well with Caitlyn's signature ability, Ace in the Hole. It's the ultimate execution tool, a high-caliber bullet designed to finish off an escaping target. But she isn't alone in this. In Dota 2, the hero Sniper does the exact same thing with his ultimate ability, appropriately named Assassinate. Although one major difference is that Sniper's Assassinate actually resets its cooldown on a kill. Now, can you imagine the pure chaos if Riot allowed Lethality Caitlyn to reset her ultimate on takedowns? Now, who doesn't love being chased down in a MOBA from a million miles away by a teleporting mage? The League champion Kassadin does this the best, that upon reaching level 6 and learning Rift Walk, there's almost no way to hold them in place. And it only gets worse once he hits level 11 and 16 respectively and lowers that ultimate cooldown. This kit matches the Heroes of New Earth champion Magebane perfectly with his ability Flash of Anti-Magic. This ability was reworked multiple times due to how strong it was, but it does give you a lot of Kassadin vibes. And to make their comparison even more, Magebane has the ability Master of the Mantra, which also reduces the magic damage he takes, similar to Kassadin's passive Voidstone. As a mid lane player myself, the last thing you ever want to see is someone counterpicking your mage with a Kassadin or a Mage Bane. Now let's go ahead and show Smite some love. Nothing says I'm the king quite like literally altering the battlefield to trap your foes. In League, we have Jarvan IV, whose ultimate Cataclysm slams the ground to create a lethal arena, leaving enemies with nowhere to run. It's a mechanic mirrored almost perfectly by Odin in Smite with his Ring of Spears. When Odin drops his ring, he doesn't just start a fight, he demands one. Both abilities turn a chaotic team fight into a claustrophobic cage match, forcing your opponents to burn their escape tools or stay in the fight and fight for their lives, assuming that is that they're not already crying for their mommy.
Mommy! It's over!
And next, who doesn't love the terror of fighting an invisible opponent? In League, we have everyone's favorite succubus, Evelynn, who turns the entire map into a horror movie once she hits level 6 with her passive Demon Shade. With her passive, she stays permanently camouflaged, stalking her prey and ganking when you least expect it, even if you lit up the river with wards like a Christmas tree. Mirroring that frustration, we have Dota 2's Ricky. His passive, Cloak and Dagger, keeps him permanently hidden, and he's infamous for fighting dirty. Ricky also has another ability called Backstab, making him the ultimate master of attacking you from behind, dealing bonus damage if he catches you at a position. Much like another League champion, Shaco. Ricky feels like a mashup of Evelynn's stealth and Shaco's love for backstabbing, proving that once again, in the MOBA world, you're never truly alone. Next, in MOBAs, don't you just love watching your opponent when he decides to revert time and undo all the damage that you just dealt to him? In League, this is famously done by Ekko, with his ultimate Chrono Break. With this ability, he'll revert back to his previous position on the map and recover some health, all while doing heavy damage to any opponent standing on his rewind point. This very much matches the exact same playstyle as the Time Walk ability on the Dota 2 character Faceless Void. Although his is actually a basic ability and not an ultimate, which makes this even that much more overpowered. To continue with the similarities, Faceless Void's ultimate is called Chrono Spear, which traps all his opponents in time, making them unable to move while he can freely attack. This is very similar to Ekko's W, Parallel Conversions, and allows both champions the ability to completely change the flow of the fight. Last, let's go into one of the most hated champions on the Rift, Teemo, and his brother from another mother, Dota 2's Techies. While both may be small in stature, they both bring a massive amount of annoyance to the table. Throughout the game, Teemo will litter the map with his invisible mushrooms called Noxus Traps, forcing the enemy to walk on eggshells or face the reality of running into some lethal poison. Techies use a very similar philosophy with their ultimate proximity mines, turning their entire lane into a minefield that can blow up the enemy sky high. Do you want to know what the best part is? These traps will stay active regardless where Teemo or Techies is across the map, allowing them to just wait for their unsuspecting victim. So anytime that you step onto the battlefield with these two around, you learn one lesson very quickly: always watch where you step. So do you think it's just a coincidence that these mechanics keep popping up across every MOBA? Or are all developers reading from the same playbook? Honestly, I think it's a bit of both. Whether it's the thrill of a blind hook to win a team fight, or the pure rage of stepping on a hidden trap to your death, these architects have become the DNA of the MOBA genre. They exist because they're high stakes, they're memorable, and they force you to play at the top of your game. But now, I want to know what you think. Is there a mechanic that you feel like was borrowed a little too heavily from a League champion? Or is there a specific champion pairing that I missed that drives you crazy? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear which one of these annoyances you hate facing the most. Thanks for watching, much love, and I'll catch you in the next one. Okay. What are they doing? Good question. I don't know. Oh, I'm teleporting in place. Maximum disrespect. Die! Take that!